Hi folks, this is HisDad. Welcome back. In front of me, I've got another gosh darn handheld. This retro I got off of AliExpress. It's huge on there right now. It's called the M17. Now there was two models. There was the 4623, and that's in US dollars. It was a 64 gigabyte version, but I went for the 128 gigabyte version for a couple more dollars. It was 50 bucks and 10 cents. Now that doesn't include tax or shipping, of course, but I pulled the trigger because I kept seeing it everywhere. And when you're gonna show me a picture of Assassin's Creed, Sony PlayStation portable on the front, I'm gonna say okay. And that 302 games really caught my eye, so I said okay. Now, what do I think? Well, first, let me give you the specs on this thing, and that will tell the tale, I believe, to those who are true gamers and know what the specs are saying. This is registered under a retro game console. It's the M17, 4.3-inch, 480 by 272 LCD screen. It plays over 25 emulators, it says, so that's not bad. And when you look at some of the things that it is running off of, you know, some of those emulators like MAME, it's emulating Atari 2600, 5200, Atari 7800, the Atari Linux. You know, now you can get Capcom System 1, 2, 3, all of those. Now, a Nintendo System, 13,620 games on here, and those are hacked versions. Unlicensed versions, European versions. I mean, when you get into it, all of that, that's what they're talking on here. How many actual separate games are on here? Buy it and find out. NES hacks. There's 1,703 games on there. Nintendo Game Boy, Super Famicom, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, Now, when we started playing Nintendo 64, there's not a lot that actually plays right. That is what it is. Game Boy Color, all of those play just fine. Sega Genesis plays just fine. Sega Game Gear, Sega Mega Drive, the Neo Geo Pocket Color. Okay, that's the last one. Sony PlayStation, 704 games. Okay, so in total, there's over 20,000 games. They're saying about 15,000 of them are different. That leaves about 5,000 of them that are dupes. PSP, PS1, those are the two that I got it for. The CPU is a quad-core Cortex A7. Okay, now that's not so bad. If it had a GPU, I'd just be thrilled. But it only runs up to 1.2 gigahertz, and most of the systems right now are running up to 1.6, 1.9. And when it says up to, that means that it's generally not running at 1,000 gigahertz. So that kind of concerns me a little bit. The RAM, its DDR RAM, it's only 256 megabytes of RAM, which that's kind of running low. A lot of the game systems right now that you can get for less than $50 are at least giving you a full gig of RAM. The battery, it's a 2,000 milliamp hour. Most of the batteries you're seeing right now are at least 3,000 milliamp hours, so it's going to start running out while you're playing one game. Okay, now, so let's dive in, take a look in here. Okay. All right, folks. So I'm loading up Medal of Honor over here. Let's see if I can manage to avoid. Now, you remind yourself this is an LCD screen.
But it wasn't until the 20th century that the scope...
Good morning, Lieutenant. I'm Colonel Hargrove from the Office of...
Okay, folks, so I've noticed that I can play this game pretty well. he say I look like Bradley Cooper? So, as far as something like Medal of Honor goes, it plays just fine. I haven't had any issues with any of the buttons. You double click the bottom down there to either save, load state, disk control, quit game. I'm gonna quit the game. It's a fine system. I really haven't had too many issues working it. You cannot, that I know of, go into any of the games and change any of them. I do believe that you can add and erase files without any issue, because most of these consoles allow you to do that. You're able to put a search in for the game you want. You're also able to put in favorites by scrolling down and hitting the X button. It's not a terrible system. When you play it at night, though, this lights up. There's a backlight because this is kind of not your typical screen. There's a cover, and then there's a dent, a little bit of a space between the actual screen and the cover. But what do you get for $50? To me, not enough. Let's just be real. The R35S was so much more, and I paid $10, $12 less for that. You have to understand that this is going to feel like a Switch Lite to most people who have a Switch Lite. They're going to say this kind of feels like a stripped down version. Very stripped down version, of course. Let's take a walk around here real quick. You got your on and off, which is, it doesn't have a sleep mode. It's just a on and off, and that will fail eventually, I believe. You have your R1, R2, L1, L2. You have your USB, which I believe is charging and out. I'm going to try that. Most of your cheaper handhelds actually emulate, or not emulate, but project out to a TV through some type of a cord. You have your SD card here. You have your start, select, D-pad, not bad, not great. Your buttons don't actually have any traction to them. This is your volume up and down. These buttons grip your fingers. They're shiny, but they have a grip to them. And your D-pad stands up taller, giving you a little bit more travel time with it. So when you get in here, your D-pad kind of feels like it's cheating you a little bit. But these sticks aren't horrible. They're 3D, but they feel good. The joysticks anyway. Your shoulder pads. They seem fairly responsive. So, not too bad. Hi folks. So let's conclude this. Who is this game console for? I'm gonna say kids. Any kids that you could get to survive in an 8-bit or 16-bit or 32-bit world. When you get into the 64-bit, my child was having issues. He was having a hard time with Nintendo 64 games, and he didn't really like messing around with the drama that the emulators were having trying to play those games successfully. Does he like the console? No, not really at all. No. He's got a Nintendo Switch, so for him to play this feels really, really silly to him. Those are the words he puts in. But he also doesn't like the RG35XX Plus either. He said needs a joystick. So we're working on finding a way to Bluetooth a controller in that actually has a joystick. Now, do I hate it? No, I don't. Is it worth $50 to me? No, because when you look at $50, the R35S, the R36S also, those two consoles, the 35S and the 36S, are under $50. and they run phenomenally. Are they perfect? No. Are they better than this? I would say so, if you don't mind your screen being up and down rather than horizontal. You can also get the grips for these size things to give you grip. You're just limited with that being your grip. And is that bad? No. A lot of people like the functionality of that, of holding it like that. So is that a con? Depends on who you are. Depends on whether or not you want a game console that's $50 yet feels stripped down. It's sturdy. It ain't gonna break. So do I recommend it? No. It's a no for me. Only because, like I already said, I have the R35S. Love it. It's got sticks, just like this. Same size as this. Slides in my pocket. This, not as much. See. And I saved $15 buying the R35S than this. So why did I buy this? It plays games supposedly that the R35S won't. And does it? My Medal of Honor plays just fine, but I could play that on other systems just fine too. So do I need that? No. Is that big screen helping me out where the other games have smaller screens? No, because the other screens are much better. So I say, well, what if this is for your child? Well, then you need to be rich. If you're giving your kid a $50 handheld, they're probably gonna corrupt the SD card, and those aren't cheap. That's a whole nother, if you buy a nice one, ask $50. So I say to yourself, you're playing in a territory that you shouldn't be playing in. If you're gonna buy that for a kid, already give it to them with an upgraded disc, with the backup already on your computer, just so that you don't have any issues there. I don't know. I think that the world of gaming is just throwing out consoles every other day. You're gonna see a review that says that almost every console that comes out is the next greatest thing or the worst thing that ever came out. There's fairly few in between that say anything marginally good about something, but is this marginally good? Yeah. $25. Give it to me for $25. And at that rate, I could buy it for my kid and do all the things that I already said, back up the SD card and all that. And if they pop off my little joysticks, do I freak out over $25? No, but I do over $50. I don't feel like going out and blowing all my money on a $50 console when there's the same consoles out there for far less. So anyway, this is HisDad saying I love you, folks. The M17, I'm going to give that a pass. I could do the same thing on the other consoles, so I will. So folks, this is HisDad saying stay tuned. We have a couple more videos coming up. It's either going to be the Retroid Pocket 4 or the Ambernick Pocket Mini. Okay? So if that sounds great, please like and subscribe. I love you. And until the next video, be safe. Bye now.